Malignant. Yes, Malignant. Malignant. James Wan's hysterical and bloody latest creation. Yes. Genre mystery, thriller, and horror. Yes, horror. Producer James Wan and Michael Clear. Writer Akela Cooper. And the release date in theaters September 10, and the release date streaming September 10. Yeah, streaming, and it's very important, by HBO Max. You find this movie in this channel, HBO Max. It's available for streaming. But if you want to see it at the cinema, go ahead, because it's also at the cinema. So, my dearest ones, yeah, James Wan, Akela Cooper, and the movie is rating. The rating of this movie is R because it contains, gruesome images and strong horror violence. And it's true, you know, because we are talking about an horror movie. We are talking about a movie from James Wan's. Although he has done lots of movies and he has, you know, even filmed movies like Aquaman and Fast and Furious, he is well recognized by his works in movies that scare us. Movies like Insidious, Annabelle, And he's also famous for creating, this kind of movies that we don't have just one product, but we have several movies. We have, like sequences and so on. But let's talk about Malignant. The plot of Malignant. Okay. In short words, Malignant is a 2021 American horror movie directed by James Wan. Yeah. It is originated from a screenplay by Akela Cooper based on an original story by James Wan. The plot of this film starts in 1993, in the 90s. Yes. And one thing that we can observe is that in the beginning of the movie, we have a doctor called Florence Weaver and her workmates, Victor Fields and John Gregory, treating a patient at a research facility. This mysterious patient is a girl, a little girl. That's what we know about it. But then, the movie, the storyline goes further in the future, settling the plot in 27 years ahead from the first scenes, in relation to the beginning of the movie when we have the doctors in that kind of hospital, a research facility. Now we are in 1993. And what we see now is a woman named Madison Lake. So we start to follow the protagonist, and Madison, her everyday seems to be a bit dull, you know, but all we know is that she's pregnant. And during an argument with her husband, Derek Mitchell, she suffers acts of violence. Unfortunately, she's a victim of a violent assault. She collapses and wakes up in time to find out her husband's dead body. Yeah. All we know is that Madison is pregnant. She suffered a violent assault, and her husband tried to smash her head against the wall. Yeah. And she is a very sad woman. From her looking, we can see that. We can notice that. One thing that is interesting to notice is that it's not the first time that Madison is pregnant, but she has lost her babies beforehand. Yeah. And this time, because of the violence that she suffered, she lose she loses her baby again. That's the interesting point in the story, because during this sequences, after the violent assault, she just collapsed. And when she wakes up and she finds out uh, the body of her husband, we see that he was killed in a very violent and gruesome way. But we don't know who is the killer. And it seems that the killer attacks Madison too. Because when she wakes up again, she informs the police that she thinks that her house was, that she had a home invasion. From now on, Madison starts to have lots of vivid dreams. And these dreams, they are so vivid that she sees what the killer is doing to his victims. Yeah. It's very bloody. And the suspenseful atmosphere is high. The first act of this movie is all about mystery and this terrifying sense of the unknown that is very, you know, which is a kind of a way of James Wan's producing films, films of this genre, terror movies. But people say that this is a new horror movie from James Wan. But to be very honest, we have to say the truth. Malignant is a film influenced by the giallo Italian terror style. Yeah, it is. What is the giallo Italian terror style? This style of filmmaking, you know, is derived from a series of cheap paperback crime slash terror novels. This term, giallo, is very famous in cinema culture. Yeah. Around the world, we use giallo to refer to this epoch where the main aspects in a film, especially terror, was the strong red color, the cheese dialogues, and the gruesome violence. Yes. And a bit of eroticism and also comedy too. In this story, we have our main protagonist, you know, passing through moments of distress because she is all the time having these vivid dreams and she doesn't know what is really going on. And we also doesn't know if Madison is the killer or if she's just seeing in a very realistic but at the same time supernatural way what the killer is doing. What is the connection between her and the killer? What is the connection between Madison and the mysterious killer? We start to wonder as well as Madison because she seems to be not sure about the nature of this monstrosity that she's living in and seeing and feeling in her bones. Yeah. Madison is shocked by these visions and how terrifying and bloody, you know. And of course, here we have a bit of slash movies influence. So the killing in this movie is, oh, yeah, it's bloody. And Madison, our protagonist, she is very, as well as us, the viewers, we are like, what's going on? Because we are unsure as well as Madison. But as the plot continues, we start to see that our main character is becoming very neurotic and even more you know, terrified because she can't control the visions. And it seems that the visions causes in her a sense of total non-action, if I can use this term. Like she's paralyzed. Yeah. But at the same time, she's living or she's seeing all those gruesome scenes of this mysterious and creepy killer, doing all these malignant acts. And as the title suggests, we know that there is a malignant force that is surrounding medicine. But we don't know the connection yet. Then we start to notice that medicine is, you know, she's very, very sad. And the feeling of sadness in this protagonist is mixture with a feeling of feeling lost because she's so fearful of not controlling her destiny and her visions and even her actions because of the feeling of being paralyzed. The use of the color red, you know, this strong use of the color red is also a characteristic of the Giallo Italian filmmaking. And James Wan uses it very well during all this movie. The cinematography, the photography is very beautiful. The way of showing us fear through the eyes of the protagonist is very well done. And the red from the Giallo fever, from the Giallo novels, is there, shouting to us, yeah, it's a Giallo movie. But a Giallo movie done by James Wan. Okay? So, as the plot continues and we see that our protagonist is even more scared about all the things that is going on, we understand that there is more things in this plot. You know, the dialogue is a bit cheesy. To be honest, I learned a new word. It is corny. And some people said that the dialogues in this movie are corny. So I'm going to say, yeah, they are indeed. But the use of the colors, the use of the mise en scène, the Giallo elements, they are there, you know. And if you say that the corny dialogues are too much or a cliche, I have to tell you, you know, this is also an aspect of the Giallo Italian terror style. Yeah, you know, because this style of doing movies, of filming, is a blending of elements of fantastic narratives, eroticism, and surrealism, and sometimes comical, and totally out of sense. I mean, nonsensical, you know, outcomes. Yeah. And all of this with this mixture of greenish, reddish, and very, very strong colors. Malignant brings back the use of these colors, and for you, my dear viewer, that enjoys, you know, the mid to late 60s thrillers, Malignant will flabbergast you. But if you are not so into it, even so, I think that it's a good movie to take a look at. Because films like Frenzy 1972 by Hitchcock, an excellent movie, by the way, as well as Eyes of Laura Mars. Oh, yes, I have to talk about these two films. Frenzy, because of the, you know, histrionic outcomes, and Eyes of Laura Mars is starred by Faye Dunaway because is also included here as an example because in this movie the protagonist, she has visions of killings. And there is another movie starred by Michael Douglas and the iconic Sharon Stone, Basic Instinct, that although is not considered horror, this movie has also a very, how can I say, a nuance of eroticism plus gruesome violence. That is something that is part of the Giallo style of filmmaking. So, films like Frenzy by Hitchcock, as well as Eyes of Laura Mars, and even, as I said, Basic Instinct, are great examples of films whose cinematography, as well as their mise en scène, are similar to Malignant style. Why? Because Malignant is full of giallo elements, as I said before. And from a supernatural aspect to a bloody, story of crimes, ending into a histrionic outcome completely out of sense. Oh my goodness. Yes. In fact, oh gosh. In fact, it sounds a little absurd, But no, this movie is laughable. But Jacqueline, laughable, yes. We can consider three acts in this movie. The first one is a story of terror. Yes, a horror movie in its essence. The second act is a investigation type of, you know, of story. And the third act, oh gosh, yeah. Here in the third act, the frontier between horror and comedy go crazy, or better, goes nuts. Yeah, the frontier between horror and comedy here in the third act is mixed with a revealing moment that is craziness. Yes, total craziness. And to be very honest, this nonsensical outcome will delight some people and also made some viewers feel disgusted and stolen. However, it is a significant film, a meaningful film, you know, that brings back the possibility of being completely out of boxes in an established way of doing horror. Yes, especially in these, you know, postmodern days. Malignant is a symbol of a return to a way of filming from a different epoch, you know, a way of filming horror movies that was highly enjoyed by the passionate, viewers of the Jallo fever. And James Wan, he knows very well that he's hitting the nostalgia when he decided to, you know, to do this kind of filmmaking style that goes directly to all that Italian gruesome novels, you know. It's interesting that the use of the colors, the photography, and the revealing moment is in tune. Yeah. And it's also, oh my gosh. Some people, yeah, they said that that revealing moment was a WTF moment. Yes. When we discover what is the real thing in this story, oh my goodness. You can't You can't resist. You can't hold back the laughing. You can't hold yourself back from laughing hardly at it because it's so nonsensical. It's so crazy, but at the same time, there is a feeling of I can't believe in what I am saying. So, this is an evil twin that is living in the back of the protagonist's body. Jesus, yes, that's the feeling. We cannot believe in what our eyes are seeing because the little girl, yeah, Madison, was a patient from a research facility. And during all this time, during the time that she was there at that hospital, when she was a child, they were trying to separate her from her brother, Gabriel, the, well, as the doctor in this movie highlights many times, cut the cancer. Yeah, he was the malignant cancer that was hidden in the back of our protagonist head. Oh gosh, it's so gruesome, it's so bizarre, and at the same time, it's so comical. That Malignant is really a movie that you are going to, you know, in the end, in the end, even if you don't resonate with all the plot twists and why they were like that and why the storyline was so bananas, even so, you have to agree that Malignant is a great return to this Giallo style of filmmaking. And because of this, James Wan is remarkable in doing, this kind of movie in this modern time. Because in postmodern terror movies, we have now a very different movie, a Giallo movie that was done by James Wan, I think, as a way of honoring and also a way of being nostalgic of a time where comedy, histrionic actions, nonsensical novels, crime scenes, gruesome violence, and also comedy were part of the same genre. Yeah, horror. So, if you enjoy it, I think you're going to enjoy the Giallo Fever movies. So, take a look and Search for this kind of films that you're going to have a great time. If you didn't enjoy Malignant, it's okay because, you know, movie is also a personal taste, you know. By the way, if you liked this video, please hit the like button, and more than this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you are new here. It helps us a lot, okay? And I would like also to say thank you. Yeah, thank you, my viewer, for your visualization and for sharing this video among your friends and family. And I wish you all the best, many blessings, and much love. See you all soon. Muito obrigada. Bye.